Hi. Hello. I was trying to do that 30-second delay there so I can come on. Sorry. Um, Good evening, good night, good morning to all of you in Facebook and social media land, and YouTube also. Hello. My name is Abby Tyler. I am a family nurse practitioner and I practice a private practice in Philadelphia. I also come with 22 years of RN experience. Somebody asked me why I mentioned the 22 years of RN experience. For me, mostly, I believe and I could be wrong, that to be a family nurse practitioner. I mean, we go to school for like 3 to 4 years, but it also helps if you come with a lot of experience as an RN because it helps a lot with critical thinking. And also, you've been working with so many different people before from the RN side. So when you do go to school to be an NP, you're coming with a lot more experience because we always get the thing that NPs don't come with that much experience and all, but we're coming with the RN experience for critical thinking and the baseline knowledge because you have to have that anyway prior to going to NP school. So that's just my little spiel for today. But happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. We're still beginning on the beginning part of February. I just want to make sure I have people out there watching. For those of you who will be watching while I'm on tonight, I say thank you. For those who will be watching later, I say thank you. Um, Today, I'm going to be talking about seniors, health and safety tips for seniors. And I should also say their caregivers too. So, but I wanted to do a topic on seniors for a while. I was just waiting for the ideal time and also to get more information on that. I saw this nice article. I tweaked it to my practice and my education and everything else. So I put it together, and I'm going to start in a minute. My disclaimer, as always, what I say here should not take the place of you going to see your family doctor or your provider and making sure you can bring these questions up to them, but make sure you see them before making any changes to your regimen. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going, of course, I was trying to get this to my other forum and I couldn't get it in time. So, because people were calling me to make sure I was still coming on tonight. So, I'm going to do this here, and it's not showing on my page yet. So, I will wait until it comes on. There we go. Get my stuff there, and hopefully, I can see my stuff online. Just making sure that I am live. Okay, yes, I am. Okay, so I'm going to do this here and I'm going to share it. For those of you out there, can you please share the video too so I can get a wider audience? Because these are important topics that a lot of people should get to know about. And I'm gonna put that on my other forum, and then I'm gonna do the rest of it later on. Post. Hey, sorry. And one more. I'm gonna do that one more time. And sorry. One more, and I go in here. There. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna lower this now. So okay, so now okay, good. I can see that I'm on. So to talk about for those of us who are in the Gen X group, most of us also have, our family members, our parents or elderly family members who are elderly, and we sometimes, especially in America, the cultural differences and all, it can be a little difficult navigating elderly care and all. But that goes for everybody, whether you're cultural differences or not. But cultural differences just makes it a little bit more difficult. So by I'm talking to a wider audience here today, and I probably might tweak it a little bit for cultural differences. So to start off, healthy habits for seniors. So health and safety tips for seniors. So for those of you who definition of seniors, age 65 to 74 is young old. 75 to 84 is middle old, and above 85 is old. Okay, so excuse me. So based on the elderly, that categories, you can pretty much tell which group would need more help, which group need more assistance, and all of that. So usually that's where we kind of differentiate between where you're old and over. And for Some of us, they're saying as soon as you hit 50 years old, for women, oh my God, you're old now. You need to get off the stage. No, just becoming old doesn't make you irrelevant. Okay. We can still contribute to, and of course, most presidents, residents of universities, and elderly people, people of my age, a little older, are the ones who are, making the war work and working along with the younger generation that's going to come to us later. So I'm going to start. Okay. First of all, let me put my glasses on because I cannot see without my glasses. I can see, but then I'll be straining my eyes, which is not good. Okay. Okay. With dental checkups and medication, physical, and a list of needs that can go on and on with everything that seniors need, not to mention also caregivers' health. So, how can you make yourself aware of senior health requirements, especially with seniors with chronic illness and other serious health issues? Well, usually they say people who start, that's why it's important to start now. And those who have healthy habits when they're younger, as they grow older, usually people start thinking about their health when they're in their 30s and 40s. You should start that long before there. So usually if you start early and start eating healthy and doing healthy things when you're younger, chances are more than likely you're going to be a little healthier when you get older. So those habits will follow you as you get older. So I'm going to talk about 10 healthy tips, and then also I'm just going to add a little bit more to it. So one, eat healthy. You want to make sure you eat healthy. As you get older, your digestive system slows down. Everything in your body kind of slow down. People say you get a little sluggish, more sluggish as you get older. So everything slows down. So it's important that you eat a lot of healthy food. You also eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. That fiber also helps. Like I always talk about roughage, to get that out of your body. So if you're eating anything that's slower, it helps to move through your body faster. That way it keep you from being constipated, because you have most older people that always say, I can go to the bathroom, I can't go to the bathroom. And then especially if they're taking medications too, that also cause that to happen. So you want to make sure that you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables and whole grains as much as possible. Okay. And also, because seniors are prone to dehydration, drink plenty of water and try to stay energized and sharp. Number two, focus on prevention. You want to do your preventative care visits, like I always talk about. Make sure you're going for your annual visits, and also if you have chronic illness that your doctor is telling you that you need to follow up every 3 to 6 months, you want to make sure that you follow up every 3 to 6 months. Follow up with to check for your health screening, your cholesterol levels, for colon cancer, heart problems, and we're in heart disease month, so you want to make sure you're doing that as well. For most seniors, they qualify for Medicare coverage, so make sure you speak to your insurance company and also your doctor's office. They'll have social workers who work along with them that can navigate you through getting Medicare, and if it's Medicaid and other things. But mostly seniors get the Medicare. You also want to make sure that you're getting your shots like you're supposed to. Get all your vaccinations, shots, vaccination, immunization is the same thing. To help, you want to get your flu vaccine. You want to make sure you get the flu vaccine every year, especially if you have chronic illnesses. But especially because you're a senior, your pneumonia vaccine, you get that at age 65. I think you can get that earlier now. In the hospital, we give it earlier now, depending on if you're pre-existing illness. You get it at 65. You get your shingles vaccine usually at age 50. Some doctors are saying you can get it a little later. The guidelines a little bit, they changed recently. And also, if you're older, you want to make sure you get your COVID vaccine, the initial two, and also the booster, because as to say, you get older, your immune system kind of slows down, and it's easier for you to get sick from that. Okay. So, three, get information on medication management. As I explained before, most of these things are like they're going to sound a little redundant, but I always with healthcare, you have to keep pushing the same thing over and over and over. But this is mainly for seniors and also for caregivers too. So, like I said, if you're taking care of your mother, your father, or other people that in your belongings, in your circle that are elderly and all, you want to make sure you listen to this so you can check up on them and say, by the way, mom, did you check this? By the way, dad, did you check this? Or aunt and uncle, did you check this? And you make sure you call in their doctors and making sure they're going to their doctor's appointment, providing transportation, and also following up when they do go. Okay. You want to ask for your seniors medication on a regular basis. Every time they go to the doctor, we do medication reconciliation. So we have the whole list of medications they're taking, and we compare the medications every time. Are you still taking this medicine? Are you still taking this medicine? Are you taking this medicine the way you're supposed to be taking it? Because there are certain medications you have to take because it has an accumulative effect. You can't take it because well, I don't feel like I have high blood pressure to this, so I'm not going to take it. No, you're supposed to take it the way it's prescribed. So you want to make sure you keep your maintain your heart blood pressure over this way. You don't want to so high one day and oh my God, I feel a little dizzy. I have a heart, I'm having a really bad headache. I'm going to take my medicine. No, you have to take it away. It's prescribed. And you want to make sure when you go to the doctor's office, you ask them again and saying, when do I take this medication? Can you please explain this to me? And if sometimes people are like, they're rushing through or they're busy going through. So if you say, okay, just slow down and just explain this to me a little bit more. What I've been doing now when I prescribe medications for my patients, I go back and sometimes when I ask them, I say, have you been taking this medication the way it's supposed to be? Oh, and then they don't know what medication is for, even though you explain it. But sometimes when you're in a doctor's office, you're there, you're overwhelmed, you're not really paying attention. So I literally will put on the label, lisinopril 10 milligrams daily by mouth daily for blood pressure. So that way, and then I want the pharmacy to write that on there when they go there. So that way, when they go there, they can say, "Oh, I'm taking it for this." And for those who don't speak English, like the major languages is also written there. So you can, when you go home, you can read that, understand this is why I'm taking this, this is why I'm taking that. And people take different blood pressure medications because high blood pressure can be managed in series of different medications as well. So you can say I'm taking one blood pressure medicine. Why am I taking another one? Because most times we have guidelines that we go by, and we may have to add another medication for better management. Okay, so make sure you're taking it. Ask your doctor, am I supposed to be taking this medication on an empty stomach? Am I supposed to be taking this medication with other medications? Am I supposed to take medication in the evening or in the morning? So you want to make sure you ask those questions. Okay. And because people get older, most medications take a little while longer to get out of the system because sometimes it flushes out through the urine and it breaks down through the liver and all, but everything slows down. So because of that, we have to be very careful when we give medications to senior citizens, and there's something called the Beers criteria. So when we giving medications and we're looking at the age and we're looking at their pre-existing conditions, or we know for what that certain medications that may make a 35-year-old person and be like, oh, okay, I'm fine, I'm good. Like even if they make that 35-year-old person a little tired, but for seniors, like I say, everything takes so long to metabolize, to break down, so it stays in the body longer. So something that may not bother you when you're much younger can make that person completely tired, can make that person dizzy and all, and which in turn will lead them to having severe injuries, falling, which can cause severe injuries and or death. So that's why we have to make sure that we do that. And when you come to the hospital or when you come to the doctor's office, even you go to the hospital too, we always do that every time we check that, because seniors also see other doctors, and sometimes our records is not updated because we haven't got that information yet, or that other doctor hasn't send it to us or put it in the system yet. So we have to make sure every time they come to us, we know what medications they're taking. Okay. And some medications can cause loss of appetite, can cause eating more, maybe taking some steroids. Are you eating a little bit more? Allergic reactions too. You want to make sure you ask the doctor, what major allergic reaction should I be looking for? What major side effects should I be looking for? Every medication has side effects, but we rate the risk and benefits. And we'll tell you, okay, if you're taking this medication for pain, because most of them have chronic pain, and that medication may make you constipated. So yes, we'll give you some Colace to keep you, or tell you eat something more fiber to help the constipation. Because with seniors, you don't want them being constipated. You don't want them, and that's what one of the things we talk about. Make them constipated, also difficulty urinating, make the eyes dry, make their mouth dry. And if you're feeling that way, you don't really want to eat. So medication may affect them differently. So we have to be careful with that. And also, like I said, as a caregiver or somebody who cares about your relative, you want to make sure you find out what medication you're taking. And at any time, you can always call the doctor's office to find out what's going on. Okay. Get enough sleep. Even when you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, we tell you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day. So seniors need even more than that. So make sure they're getting enough sleep so the body can rest and recover. Okay. And also make sure if they're taking medications, make sure, like I said, if they have to take a medication to sleep, I always saw them take at least an hour prior to go into bed, because you don't want to be taking medicine when it's like so right before you go to bed, or if you can't sleep and you're taking it and you wake up in the morning, you're feeling really groggy because you didn't really get enough sleep. Okay, make sure the lights are on in the bathroom. Make sure a night light or something. Some people don't like the lights on, but make sure there's enough lighting so when they do get out of bed, if you disoriented, that they don't hit themselves or get fall. Especially if the bathroom is up on a different floor, the bedroom on a different floor, you want to make sure the place is well lit and they know how to put the light on. They can easily reach the light to put it on, in order to be able to see, to go to the bathroom, or when you get up in the night to get up to move around. All right. Remember the mental health also. All right. Seniors, you want to make sure you stay as active as possible. You want to watch shows on social media, keep in touch with friends and family, do some crossword puzzles, do a lot of reading, do a lot of writing, coloring. Also, there are senior groups you can go to at the YMCA. They also have it at different churches, different social groups of churches or mosques or synagogues. Ask people in your area, in your church, wherever you go to, ask them, do you have any senior citizens thing? When can I come? When can I meet with other people? If you're, especially for those who, foreigners too, they always like to hang around as you get older. You want to hang around people who understand your language, understand your way of life. So you can ask around in your community associations and say, do you have anything that catered only to seniors, so we can sit there alone? Because the thing about it is, like, sometimes as you get older, you want to hang out with people who understand, who are in the same time frame of your life. You don't want to be sitting out with a younger person and they're talking about something that you really can't understand. And there's nothing wrong with that. You do want to hang out with them to, like, keep in touch and be present in what's going on in the world. But at the same time, you also want to hang around. You want to talk to somebody who is the same way with us. When we put a music on and you're like, oh, that is my jam. I can remember when that song came on. So right away, you sit there and you start sharing stories of things that happened when that song came out, when that story came out, and things like that. Even me, when I watch YouTube, I'll get on there and I literally start reading the comments to see, oh my God, people start saying this is where I was when that happened. So I kind of like say, okay, I see people were experiencing the same thing I was going through and what they were going through and all. So it's just like that. You want to make sure that they stay in the present at the same time. Sudden confusion, you want to make sure that you call your doctor to check on that, because chances are more than likely there's probably urinary tract infection. They shouldn't just get confused, and if they're slowly getting confused and all that, you see them forgetting things that happened 20 years ago, things that happened this evening, start forgetting people close to them. You want to get them checked and make sure they don't have any kind of dementia going on. Alzheimer's is the most common dementia. There are other kinds of dementia too, but you want to make sure you get them checked, especially for UTI. Like I said, you want to make sure you check them, get a urine sample to make sure that they don't have UTI, because seniors usually, especially women, as they get older, they'll get more UTI simply because of the anatomy. The vagina is very close to the urethra opening, so as you get older, things happen and you get more, you're more prone to UTI. For younger girls and also for older women, you're more prone to UTI. And men also, men don't like drinking that much, so they also get that. So you want to, and some medications can cause that as well. Like I said before, they dries everything up. You're not drinking that much, so you're dehydrated, and so you're not putting out more water, and you get confused. So making sure, like I said, for Alzheimer's, you want to make sure, especially when they will start wandering off, and that's for anybody. Okay, so when they start wandering off, you want to make sure you contact your doctor's office and making sure that they get checked, because the problem is we've had many issues, many incidences where seniors wander off and they were found dead in the woods or dead next to the river or wandering off in the streets and they don't even know where they are. So that can be really, really, really unsafe. And also, like I also say, I tell patients, I say, do you remember what happened 20 years ago? They'd be like, oh yeah, I can remember, I think my granddaughter was born at that time. Do you remember when you put water on the stove that you were supposed to turn it off? And then they might say, every once in a while I forget that, and things like. So you want to make sure that's long-term and short-term memory, and that can be very important, because if they leave something on the stove and they're cooking and they walk away, that could cause a fire, which they could end up losing their lives, and other people in the house as well, and their pets. So you want to start talking by, asking them questions about things that happened then and things that happen right now. So speaking of that, I have a funny story to tell. I was talking to one of my patients way, way, way back, and I said, "Well, who's the president?" And he said, "George Bush." And I'm like, "Well, who's the president?" And he's like, "George Bush." I already said George Bush. I'm like right before breakfast, and I said, "Well, the father or the son?" He's like, "What?" I said, "The father or the son?" He goes, "The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Who cares? When am I going to eat my breakfast?" So I was like, the difference is like almost 12 years. They were 12 years apart in the presidency. So usually when we ask those questions, it's like we're trying to figure, are you in the present? Because people will tell you a whole story about things that happened, and it's something that happened to them way back, and you're thinking there's something that happened recently. So it's very important that, you keep in touch with it, and keep, when you're talking to your family members, make sure you're following it. So it's not just, oh yeah, she's forgetful, and it's cute, they're forgetful, different things, but it's all safety issue that comes along with that. Okay, you want to make sure that they go into six. You want to make sure that they go into the eye doctor every year, especially if they're diabetic and they have high blood pressure, and also they need to get checked every year, regardless of whether they have that. But if they do have those two diseases, you want to make sure that they're getting that check. And if they start complaining of headaches, sometimes it's not just seeing, you start complaining of headaches and floaters in the eyes and things moving around the eyes. You want to make sure you get that check because, like I said, some seniors live alone, so you want to make sure that they're safe. Okay. Having the right pair of glasses can reduce a lot of the chance of falling, because if they can't see, chances are more than likely they're going to trip over something and fall. Okay, so, and God forbid if they fall, you want to make sure it's like we'll ask you, did they trip over something and fall, or did they become dizzy and fall? Those are two major differences there. So you want to make sure you check up on that. Okay, make sure there are no throw rugs on the floor. If there's throw rugs on the floor, make sure it's like sealed to the floor. Sometimes they plug their phones, and the cord is like across, or the light cords. Make sure all those things are not in the way, and in boxes, anything that can be easily tripped over, make sure it's far apart, far leaning against the wall where they can reach to. If they need to be climbing up, make sure there's a nice little steps to, maybe no more than two stairs. It should be stairs to no ladder and things like that. So if they have to climb up, which I don't recommend, but if they have to, at least that way it's just right off the floor and they can do that safely. Okay. Um, Let me see. I went to the socializing part, so make sure they're still hanging out with their grandkids. Hanging. They do have the nursing home where their kids, the younger kids from the neighborhood school can go to the nursing home. So there's like intergenerational thing where they sit there and talk and have a good time together. Even young adults can also go to see them and have. And I know some seniors that they know like all the newest music and everything. So that's good. That keep your brain cells popping. So as you get older, for those of you in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, don't say, "Oh yeah, I'm old now. I don't need to do that." Make sure you keep reading. Make sure you keep doing that to keep your brain cells functioning, because the more everything stays in motion, it keeps you younger mentally and also keep you physically, because chances are more than likely you might want to go out and exercise and do more things too, which is very important for seniors. Stay That moves on to my next topic. You want to stay physically active, you want to exercise. That keeps, then also it helps with a chronic illness too, especially if you have arthritis or you have other issues that's going on. Even if you cannot get out of the chair, even if you can get out, you can sit in the chair and put the music on and move along with it. Any music that keeps them moving. Don't play You can play a nice little sweet music that they dance to slowly and all, but you want to play music where they even moving their arms here and there, moving their legs, all of that. That's range of motion. You keep the range of motion, moving their hands back and forth. Even if it said, "Okay, mommy or daddy, can you help me fold the clothes? Can you help me do this?" And they're moving around, making them feel that they're doing stuff and all. And older people want to feel useful. They don't want to feel like I'm just sitting in the corner somewhere and just rotting away. They want to feel useful because they're still living, and you want to make them feel relevant. Because that's one thing too I noticed in our culture, where if you old and it's like put you, "Oh, now you old, you're relevant." And old for our culture is like 30, especially if you're a woman. So make sure that they're doing that. They're staying physically active. I see some older seniors going around and they're riding their bikes and all. My, I'm gonna tell this story. My husband's gonna kill me. We were all riding our bikes way back, and he had this three-wheel bike. He was like, they made it for like seniors, for people who never learned how to ride a bike. And we were all riding, with me, my husband, my daughter, and us. We were riding. He was so proud of himself because he never learned how to ride a bike, and he's riding his bike. We're in the park, and we did it for many times. And one day we were riding, and of course, this little sweet old man sitting there. By the way, older people, and the older you get, you have no filter, none whatsoever. So and he's like, right, and we're riding. My husband's like, when we're going, and I go, and my son and my daughter, and my husband is in the back, and the guy goes, "The one in the back is a big baby." And I was just like, he felt I was trying so hard not to laugh. I was like, "Oh," he goes, "I can't believe he said that to me." I'm like, "Well, maybe he thinks your tricycle is like, He said, "But they made this for adults." I'm like, "I know, but he's old. No, you deal with old people. Just give him some mercy." So of course that day he goes, "That's it. I'm learning how to ride it too." And within a week he got his new bike and he was able to ride. He learned it. I was like, "See, Sometimes you just need that guy was like a little, he's like a catalyst that kind of moved you into that direction. So, I don't, there's certain things that I should have learned when I was younger too. I didn't know how to swim, so I keep myself safely, near where, but that kind of helped him. So, and older people, and don't be careful with them too, because sometimes they just say stuff, and just gave them some grace and mercy, because they're just, you lose their filter as you get older. Sometimes I hear myself saying stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. I'm sure I'm getting old too. So, anyways, and make sure, like I said, stay healthy, stay physically active, and also it helps, get your happy hormones too, because some older people tend to become very depressed after a while. So you want to make sure that they stay active. Even go into the mall when it gets cold. Go to the mall, walk around the mall if you have the mall in your neighborhood, and do that. Okay. Getting your free physical. Most senior citizens have free physicals, and after they're every yearly. And then the last one is making sure you see your dentist, every 6 months, like you're supposed to, for cleaning, because you want to make sure dental health is also connected to your cardiac health, your overall health. So you want to make sure you're getting your teeth clean. And also, if you need to wear dentures, you're making sure the dentures fit, because if your dentures don't fit, chances are more than likely you're not eating healthy. Okay, you won't want to eat, you and kind of take you away from being social with people, because if you have missing teeth, you don't want to sit there. And older people also, they care about how they look. You don't start losing the way you can, and care about yourself simply because you get old. So you want to make sure that you're getting well fitting dentures. You want to make sure that if there's anything going on with your gum, that your dentist is aware of it. And also your dentist is looking at your tongue and the back of your mouth too, to make sure there's no cancer going on there. So it's not just because and some people grind their teeth, and that can cause them problems when they go to sleep at night. So you want to make sure that you get that done every 6 months. And also, if you have diabetes, all of that, wound healing and things like that. So every 6 months, and then also, as recommended, because sometimes you may have to come a little more often if your doctor sees it's a problem that needs to be addressed. Okay, so those are my 10 tips. I think I did 10, right? So, then now, as almost done, yeah, it's 27 minutes. So a caregiver. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself as well. Okay, make sure you're taking care of yourself, because sometimes taking care of an elderly parent can be a lot. There are different groups out there where they pay you to take care of your parents. I know some people say, oh my God, my own mother, my own father, you don't need to pay me. But what if you have to stay home with that parent? How do you pay your rent? How do you pay your mortgage? How do you pay that? So it's not like back home or somewhere where, or you at the point where you already paid for your house and you're just sitting home and you just getting retirement. So you're taking care of an elderly person. That's fine. But there's some people who need to do that. And plus, if you're younger too, you also need health insurance. So these companies provide all of that for you to be able to take care of your parents in your home or in their home. So you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, taking breaks if you need respite care. Talk is very important, that prior to your family member getting old, that you sit down with your siblings and talk about what's going to happen when mom gets old. Can mom continue staying in that house? Is that house still safe? Can mom live in a house, mom and dad? Can mom and dad live in a house where they have to go upstairs to the bathroom? If they have to hurry up and go to the bathroom, that becomes unsafe if they have to go to the all the way upstairs to the bathroom. What if they live in a house with another sick relative, like the father gets sick or the mother gets sick, and one person is taking care of them, but that person gets sicker? Can they continue doing that? Talk about all that. Talk about advanced directives. If you didn't see my show, advanced directives is below this one, is a couple of videos below. Check on that. Check on who's going to talk about who's going to be the power of attorney, who's going to be the health power of attorney, who's going to be the medical power of attorney. You want to do that. You want to check on life insurance. Are they still paying it? Can they continue paying it, or can somebody else take over and continue and pay the life insurance? And you want to make sure you're having that conversation with other siblings, because that can cause problem later on. So make sure you have all that. And like I said, can if they come to you, if you, can they will it be safe in your home if you say, okay, I'm just going to take mom? Would it be safe in your home? And then some people also have family members where the siblings are not safe. So I can't send my mom to go live with Junior, because Junior either drinks or he's living on an unhealthy life and unsafe life. So it won't be a safe place. Even though I know she's close to Junior and all that, but that won't be a safe place for mom to live. That won't be a safe place for dad to live. So you want to make sure you start having that conversation now, as they're still young, a little much younger, and still working. And even for those of you who in your 40s and 50s, you want to start making that decision. For senior citizens also who are taking care of children who have issues. Let's say you have a special needs child. As they get older, you want to start discussing it, one of the parents or one of your siblings going to take over your special needs sibling. Are they going to be taken in a home? Are they going to be institutionalized? Even if they're institutionalized, your mother or father go to see them very often and bring them to family events and all. Who's going to be taking care of them after your parents die? Okay, so I remember I was taking care when I worked in a group home, and I had this lady. She had a daughter who special needs, and she used to come and visit the daughter all the time. And she said, the only thing I want, I'm just praying that I go before her because I don't think I'll be able to live knowing that I left my daughter here, even though her daughter was well taken care of by us and she had other siblings, but the siblings were living far away. And this mother lived like maybe 10 minutes away down the street and was, she was elderly, so she couldn't take care of her anymore. So I mean, when the daughter got sick and all, and she finally passed, and mother, we were really sad. It was like because it was so close. And she said, that was always my prayer that she goes before me. I didn't want her to die, but I wanted her to go before me, so that when I finally die, I can die peacefully, knowing that. So, but there's so many issues that go on. So, making sure you follow up with that, and let me see, for those of you who I'm going to go into a little bit over 30 minutes now. Elder abuse is real. So if you think an elder is being abused, you want to make sure you bring that to the attention, because if we find out, we are mandated by law to report that. Okay, family member or not, we are mandated by law to report that. Nobody should be abusing any elderly person, mentally, physically. And some people also have sexual, elderly abuse, suffer sexual abuse too. So making sure you check on that. For those of you who have family members who are non-English speaking, you want to make sure that you're checking up on everything. When you go to the doctors, you want to follow with them. If they're in the hospital, you want to make sure, because sometimes I used to have patients that are non-English speaking. We have the translator services as well, but the family member were not around because they had to go to work. And then also when COVID came around, so when we do the multidisciplinary rounds, it was the doctors, the speech therapists, everybody who applied, social workers and all. And when we come in a room and you have this like whole group of people standing there, we're talking to the patients, we have the translator phone on. They're like, oh my God, and they're sitting there, these people talking, and we're talking to them with the translator, but it's still not the same as the family members listening. So I always taught them, I said, when they say, oh, what's going on? I said, we're going to be making rounds around 9 o'clock in the morning. Just have your phone ready. So, and keep it on so we can call you and tell you we're here. We can go over that. So the patient feels comfortable knowing that the family members also listening. Is not just a translator who they have no relationship to. Okay, like again, like I said, when you get older, that familiarity where you want to be close to people who you've known all your life and all that, whether it's like a friend, family member, but it has to be somebody who's like a responsible party. So you want to make sure that you keep up with their medical needs and everything when they're in the hospital, as well as when they come to the doctor's office, outpatient, and go into anything else, making sure you keep abreast of all that. Please, if you speak not speaking to your brothers and sisters and all that, just say, you know what, I know we're now good terms, because anything can happen to family member, anything can happen to family. We're not on good terms, but I just want to make sure that we want to take care of mom and dad, and this is the reason why we're doing this, and get things squared away. Put your adult hats on. Say, as soon as this meeting over, I'm out. I'm not hanging around there. Or you say, me and another person cannot stay in the same room for 2 seconds because I'm just gonna have your phone. Say, you know what? Go on Zoom. It's best when you're talking face to face, or just have it on speaker and say, okay, let's talk about this. It's something that nobody wants to talk about, but it's something that should be talked about, especially when it comes to advanced directives, because that alone can cause a lot of problem in the family. Okay. And teach them how to make emergency calls, especially the non-English speaking, to make emergency calls, how to call for help and all that. Our association had our senior citizen group, where we used to teach them how to the different things, because some of them didn't speak English either. To call 911 for help. You'd be surprised how many people don't know how to do that. And then addresses, their street number, and to be able to talk to people outside, so when they go out, they don't feel too scared, because the only people to interact with are people who in the family. So yeah. So in conclusion, this is not comprehensive. There's many more things, issues out there. You can call AARP. You can call your insurance company and find out more about senior citizens' needs. Um, and talk to your doctors and talk to people, social workers, and all, to see how you can best get resources to help you take care of your elderly family members, because we love them. their family and friends. They're also and making sure whatever is going on with them, that's part of your medical history. Okay, so if your mother had diabetes, chances are more than likely as you get older you're gonna have it, but it's your risk factor. So you want to make sure you know that and talk to them. Whoever who had sudden death in the family, who did this, what's going on with you, and things like that. So when you come to the doctor's office, you know what's going on. All right. I hope that was my conclusion. My teacher used to say, make sure you don't put anything new in the conclusion. You know that, right? So, but let me see if there's any questions that I need to address here. Okay. Hi, patients. She's watching from the light here from Minnesota, cold Minnesota. Uh, Let me see here. Abby Tyler is 50 something, considered senior. Thanks to your tips. 50 something, not a senior. Like I said before, from the beginning of the show, I give it three different categories, but in our family, yeah, our culture is like 50, you old now, you old now. So, but no, I don't consider senior, but the ARP does start giving you invitations to join. So to get senior discounts, I guess, or to start getting ready to get all those resources you're going to need as you get older to 65. And in America, 65 is when you retire. So, and let me see. My doctor say, looking beautiful, Abby. Thanks. I keep moving. I had to like hurry up and fix myself up. Alrighty. So let me just see what else is there. Please share the broadcast. Oh, I thought I shared it on the other place and all that. Okay, I think you're telling me that I shared the broadcast. Okay, but I think I shared on my other forum too. I hope I did. And let me see what else. Live good to say, and we will get old too. We will all get old. Like I tell people, it's so saddening when a younger person dies, but then we make fun of old people. But then it's like, so every birthday you pray for a birthday. So every birthday you're getting older, right? And so let me see what Mike can say. As always, enjoy the platform. I'll be hitting 51 in April, and thanks for the advice, Ms. Abby. Sometimes it's kind of hard to eat healthy, but it's important to eat healthy and work out as much as possible. Yes, thank you, Mike. And of course, thanks always. You always, watching comments and all. Yes, it's important to eat healthy. It's hard to eat healthy. I wanted to go back to the gym, but then the Omicron virus came and then I got it. So it's been kind of hard, but I'm working my way to go there. But I do my stretches and everything, and I am determined to go back in March. Planet Fitness just eating my money. I mean, at this point, I'm just donating. So, and let me see. Cause Jackie, why can I get her stuff? Okay. Jackie Jackson, this is a great topic, but you are right there on some challenging family members that make things hard. Oh, oh, yes. And that is like with every family member when it comes to that elderly people and all the dynamics that doesn't go away simply because they get older. And as they get older, it becomes more difficult because you're dealing with them and you're dealing with other family members who they bring in their topics and their other issues. So it's just like it's something where if you have to talk about it, you want to talk about it, start small, start the conversation and then move on from there and build on it. And sometimes there would be a lot of resistance directly from the elderly person because they don't want to, if you taught them to leave their home, they don't want to leave their home. That's their home. Even where I am, sometimes it's like I stay to one job for so long because I'm like, I love these people, these are my people. Or I go to one place somewhere, I shop for a while, somewhere I shop for clothing, these are my people, I'm comfortable here. And so, an elderly person to just uproot their lives and go somewhere like that. But it gets to a point where it's like, okay, it's getting unsafe for you. So you have to make these changes and start talking about it and talk about it often. Often, I know sometimes you become a broken record because they don't want you annoying them so much, but it's something that you have to do in order to keep them safe. And eventually, hopefully, they'll understand that and ask other people to come into it too, like their healthcare provider and social workers and other things. Okay. So I hope I was able to give enough information there. And let me see here. I think I got everybody's comments. I'm really happy that you guys watched this. Let me see. One more person. Dennis says, thanks for the topic. It is needed in our community. Yes, it is. It's about time, and it's something that we need to talk about, especially, and when people don't talk about these things, and then when death happens, God forbid, then it just brings so much friction, and everybody else is so sad, and family members grow apart, and you're there, and you lose your cousins and all that because this sister is no longer talking to this brother, and also that can cause a lot of problems. So, yes, it is a good topic. And Okay, Jackie, so you just answered my next questions. Okay, so I see a lot of people watching today, and also, I love these comments and questions and all that too. So, if you have any additional comments and questions, you can put it down there, and if I get the chance, I'm gonna respond to it in due time. So, I want to thank you all for watching. For those of you who will be watching later, I say thank you, and also if you have any questions later on, please include that. And I always say until we meet again. And somebody said, don't say that because that's something that we say, at a bad time. So, but until we come back on again, I wish you all a very good night, a healthy day tomorrow and the rest of the week. And say, as I always say, take your medicine as is prescribed, exactly as is prescribed. If you have any questions, make sure you speak to your doctor. Heart healthy diet and active lifestyle as much as possible. Make sure you're following up with your different specialists and doing all the care. As I said, next week, no, I think the end of the month, we're going to do something on heart disease. So hopefully I'll be able to get my friend up here and we can do that. She did promise, so I'll see, but she's also really busy too. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. And let me just see one more there before. Is this no? Did I just looking at every once in this displays around for a while? Okay, that one. Okay, so alrighty. And I'm gonna do this here. Alrighty. So thank you all for watching again. And for those of you on YouTube also, and for those of you, please share the show. And also, like I said, for you have friends and family members that don't frequent Facebook, make sure to tell them that I'm on YouTube, the same name, Abby Tyler's Healthy Living, and watch it from there. Okay, so thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Okay, so good night. God bless.